Good morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. It's Thursday, November the 27th, 2014. Jared, Alvin, and I are back up here on Rucker Gap. We had a lot of snow, as you've seen of yesterday's video. We called it an early day because of the tree limbs popping and cracking. The roof of my blind caved in on me. Got it popped back out. And it just looked nasty. Today, it's foggy, sun's out. We got a little late start. Took our time coming up the mountain because of the snow. And me and Jared, as we got where we split off, we found deer tracks everywhere in the snow. They walked in our path. They had crisscrossed. Coming out here onto my ridge where I hunt, I seen 4 or 5 different sets of tracks where Jared had his blind last year. And behind my blind, there's a little pine thicket right here at the back of the ridge. There's deer paths, trails in there in the snow. Seen where a deer had come in and actually peed in the snow. And then you can see where they'd followed my tracks, where I broke the path in the snow. So, hopefully they're moving today, especially when that sun hits this ridge. So I'm going to turn the camera around, sit back and get quiet. Well, it's 5 after 12. I've done fixed something for lunch. Of course, the ramen noodles, the beef. Poured some of the broth in a cup first and drunk the broth. It's in the mid to low 30s. Got a breeze. And right now I've got the heater going. A little Primus burner. And my legs are fairly warm because I've kind of been huddling over it, but haven't seen anything. I did come out about 11 out of the blind, walked to the top of the ridge and back out to where my father-in-law used to hunt, and just to get warm. And when I come back in, pull out the little burner and put the fuel on it and fix those noodles. Jared just radioed me. He said his feet were froze and he was going to go for a walk. I'd like to have bought 2 of these maybe and gave him one of them to use, but that wouldn't have helped his feet. I mean, keep your hands warm if you got it close enough to you, or seal up your blind. And you've got a little heat, portable heat, when it's cold like today. I've only heard just a couple shots this morning, but I think most people hunt for 3 days, go home for Thanksgiving. Of course, it's 90 miles back to home from here, so we stay here the whole week. But Jim and Dink haven't seen anything. Me and Jared and Alvin have been seeing deer, and then seeing tracks today. Seen tracks yesterday morning before a lot of that snow fell. Before it got real deep. But we may have to revert back to our old ways. For a couple of years ago, we come up here and if we didn't see anything in the first 3 days, we'd go home. Not just so we'd have Thanksgiving, but we'd go home and we'd go hunt over on the lease. A lot of people tell us, why do we come up here? Why do we come up here? You pay X amount of dollars to be a member of that 8,000 acre lease, and you see deer when you're bow hunting. And the thing is, this is what I've done for about 33 years with my father-in-law and his sons, my brother-in-laws, and it's just a family tradition. And now my one brother-in-law passed away 7 years ago. My father-in-law passed away, be 2 years this coming January, and we want to keep the tradition going. So we come up here and hunt. But, you know, like I said, and everybody argue me this is not the case. I think a lot of it is there's no hunters up here. The deer have gotten so plentiful back towards home and other counties. People don't drive up here and stay the week. I mean, it used to be you'd sit here on this ridge and I'd see people going up the holler, come up on the end of the ridge on this point, but you just don't see that anymore. It used to be you had camps from Little Allegheny Mountain Trail. Well, maybe not right at Little Allegheny Mountain. Starting at the base of this ridge that I'm on, basically starting here all the way up Sherwood Lake, you had campers everywhere. Everywhere where there's a wide spot, there was a camper. Now you can go up there and pretty much count all the campers on your hands and toes between here and the lake. You know, and there's campgrounds in the lake to park your camper while you're up here deer hunting. It's just people's got out of it. Staying closer to home. There was a couple bad years we didn't have any mass, and there were some heavy winters. A lot of people blame, you know, deer kill from, you know, the winter and no mass. But we know there's deer up here. It's just they're not pressured anymore. Well, that's my little spiel for right now. I'll turn the camera back around and get back to hunting and quit chatting on the camera. Again, today's Thursday, November the 27th. And this was after that snow fell yesterday. This is how much is out here. Now some of it's melted because the sun came out yesterday afternoon, and also the ground was warm. Where's the other ridge? Jared's out on that part of the ridge, I believe is where he's at. But I done pulled everything out of the blind. Temperatures going to go down close to the teens tonight, and the wind's been pretty blustery this afternoon. I was listening to the NOAA weather frequency, and wind chill factors are supposed to get down to about 7 above 0. And my blind had done froze. I couldn't hardly get the windows zipped on it. So I'm out. It's only 3:36, and going to hunt from outside. I walked back up top of the ridge just a little bit ago where I went this morning, and dang blasted deer come across, walked right in my tracks. Didn't come down in here, but crossed up there in the low gap. So I may want to think about hunting that low gap tomorrow instead of hunting from a blind. This is the top of that ridge that some of the deer tracks go through, and goes out to a point out there. That doe I seen on Monday, she come running from out of there and run down to that pine right there and stopped, and then she went on down through that thicket down through there, and then I lost sight of her. But the low gap is right through there. You can almost see my tracks right there going up by that tree. And there's a low gap over there, and that's where the deer been crossing. So it may pay for me to hunt there tomorrow instead of in the blind. We'll just have to see. But I am going to head up that way now, because we got about another hour and we'll have to come off of here. So I'm going to shut the camera off and head up that way.